there we touch upon a very essential story about why this world is here. And I've come to this story already many times, but it always comes back, of course, because it's very essential. And it gives the answer why, for example, we can all here next week enjoy the bhajans singing. Even though maybe the next day you may feel, oh, I wish we were still singing bhajans. You might all think, it's really not good to sing these bhajans, it's too much fun, and afterwards I'm missing it. So we should stop doing that. We should get detached from this whole bhajan game and, live without it. So, and that story of creation is very essential in Vedic scripture. Because in Vedic scripture, it is very clearly said and reasoned that creation is there for entertainment. Creation is not there to become enlightened. And this is very logical. Because before there is creation, there is only the divine. Pure consciousness, pure energy. Nothing manifested, everything unmanifested. And then it manifests. Why does it manifest? Certainly not to become enlightened or anything like that, because it was already enlightened before it manifested. No? So it had to manifest for something else. And the only logical explanation is entertainment. The play of colors, the play of sounds, the play of elements, the play of love, the play of relationships, the play of dance and movies and theaters and talks. And ultimately, of course, also the play of then kind of coming out of all these games and finding again the true center, the origin, the unborn, the undying, and then again move from there, to the source. So, the search for enlightenment may be the last stage of this game, but that is not why creation is made. Creation comes, manifestation of cosmic energy comes for fun. So if we would, out of this idea of detachment, deny all kinds of fun, we'll actually be going against the very basic reason why we are here. And I find that like confusion quite often present in people who, talk about yoga and read about enlightenment and all these things, that at some point they feel, we should detach completely from everything. And that is your choice. That is also a sadhu's choice. But in the original ideas about detachment in Vedic scripture, whether you are detaching completely from life for one day or 1 month or 1 year or 1 lifetime, the idea was always to come back. So detachment, temporarily really blocking off the whole world and going in a cave where it's dark and there's no sound and nothing to find the self, is no end in itself. It's only supposed to bring you to a point where you can again come out of the cave and greet the sun and greet everybody and live a better life. Or maybe die in the cave and get reborn in a different body and then live a better life. Whatever, But it was always a temporary thing. It was not the ultimate idea about life. And so I find this in many ways, like even the way people now seem to think sometimes about love relationships, that they should not attach in any way in any love relationship, that any love relationship should be detached, hello, goodbye, that kind of thinking is in error. I mean, you are free to do whatever you want, but to believe that this is the ultimate goal is really not in tune with the original ideas of yoga. Because if you can attach to somebody in a love relationship, and really only stay there, then maybe you can go a lot deeper, than if you just like hop around from here and there. It's a different thing. I'm not saying hopping around is no fun, but staying with somebody also can be a lot of fun. So you are free there to do whatever you think you should be doing, but don't think you have to be detached in such ways. Don't think you have to be detached from everybody and everything. Essentially, also this comes when we start having some experience of the self. It comes when we have some experience of the pure consciousness and the pure energy, of this beautiful peace inside. Then when we come out and we look at ourselves and our lives and whatever we are doing there, it seems useless. It seems poor in comparison to what we find there inside. And maybe it is. No? Certainly it is. What is inside is perfect. What is outside must always be imperfect. That is the nature of the form. A bottle can only be a bottle. A cup can only be a cup. In that way it is imperfect. Everything with form is imperfect. So that comes, but when the connection to the self becomes more deep, when the experience of the self becomes more profound, then when you come out, then you start suddenly seeing everything as the self. Then you start seeing the self in everything. And then that which is manifested, that which has form, that which seems imperfect, it becomes absolutely perfect in its imperfection. Then whatever tree you see becomes perfect. Even though some tree you can say, oh, this is not such a nice looking tree, still, if you look at it with the eye of the self, it will look absolutely perfect. It will look absolutely fantastic. Then you will see that in every form, in every second even that form exists, this form is perfect. That this form is like as absolutely true as the ultimate truth of the self, even though it is impermanent. There's a lot of talk, of course, in yoga about how everything is impermanent, how it comes and goes. I was saying it just before. But the truth is that also that impermanence is part of the game. That this life is a divine life, that it is a divine manifestation, and that there is absolutely nothing wrong with anything at any time. That everything is absolute perfect as it is. And that is then how you see it. And then the game of attachment and detachment becomes very different. So I said it in the beginning, it's not about choosing one or the other or finding some way in the middle. It's about finding a kind of attitude which is completely beyond. And so I try to explain that now. And that is what is detached attachment. Or at least that's what these words try to express. So it is a subtle thing. It's a subtle solution. One might say it's a kind of equanimity. It's a kind of acceptance of everything that is as it is. It's partially also, sure, about enough practice of a detachment so that your attachment can be a little bit more balanced, maybe. No? Harihara, the mix of Shiva and Vishnu in your practice, the 1 hour of meditation a day which makes your mind calm so that the rest of the day you can enjoy things without getting too much attached to them. No? So it is that, sure, that is part of it. there also lies this choice between more withdrawing from life or trying to be detached also when being a householder, when being involved with things. That is also part of it. The idea that we need some big solution, that we need some big detachment, no? Comes from the idea that there is a big problem. But there is no big problem. And most big problems actually come from the idea that there is a big problem. Like, say, a person who is very greedy and cheating everybody and oppressing people for money or whatever. Big problem. But that person is only acting in that way because he believes somehow he has a very big problem and needs a lot of money to kind of compensate for it. So that understanding brings you to the point where, you go beyond this duality of attachment and detachment. And to say detached attachment is, difficult because it's not really saying it, but it's the best way to say it. It's about being involved with whatever you do at any time, being fully concentrated on whatever you do at any time, being fully devoted to whatever you do at any time, but not expect any result from it. That is detached attachment. Whether you are making some food, whether you are falling in love, you are completely going for it, fearless. And in that way, whatever comes, comes. You've given it your best shot. But you do not think about what comes of it. You do not expect anything to come from it. These fixed ideas that we tend to have about things, you watch them closely. And whenever you see them in yourself, you smile. It's natural that they come. How can you do something without some expectation? How can you cook without having some idea of the meal that you are going to bring? But keep it flexible. Keep it fluid. Be adaptable. If you find, I don't even have any salt, you find a way. You find a way to still make it good. So it's about being in the moment, as very often is said. And it's very hard to explain because to be like that only really comes from here. To be like that is not something like I can say, now you all go out and do that. That's hard. It comes. Suddenly it will be there. And I can tell you when it is there, it very rarely goes. I'm not saying it has no possibility to go. But still, when it is there, whatever you find, you treat it in the same way. Fully devoted, fully enjoying, fully in that way attaching, but without attachment. Intellect cannot understand this. No? Mind cannot really understand it. You can only feel what I'm trying to say. And we find it also in the three big yogas, like in Bhakti Yoga, unconditional love. Unconditional love is detached attachment. No? It just comes from you. It's like you become totally unconcerned with whatever is not coming from you, with whatever is coming from the outside. Your stream of energy is just moving outward with the best possible intention, with the best possible energy, with the best possible feeling, with as much love as you can give. And the result is not important and does not change that love, does not change that devotion. Same way, of course, in karma yoga, selfless service, that is the essence of it. To be able to do something good, but not expecting it to work, not expecting it to have some particular result. That is detached attachment. And here also in your thinking in jhana yoga, we cannot stop ourselves from thinking 24 hours a day. This is not how we are made. So thoughts come. Some may be more close to the truth, some may be a little less close to the truth. That does not matter as long as we are detached from them, as long as we see them as poetry, as long as we see them as just touching the truth or maybe touching the untruth. It does not matter, as long as we do not take them so seriously, as we play with them. And so in that way, detached attachment really is Leela, really is the divine play. And my teacher Harish Johari, he used to say, and that is the ultimate reason why the creation was created. That is the ultimate joy of creation. To be able to live a life in form and play with everything, but not be touched by it, not be hurt by it, because you are not attached to it, even though you are fully attached to it. We are there again. Yeah. But so, it's hard. Intellect always thinks in black and white or shades of grey. But there is something beyond. There really is something beyond. And that is so absolute and ultimately depends on the self. In that detached attachment, even suffering can be there. Because of course in detached attachment, some attachment is there. So then with the law of things coming and going, when that attachment you have to drop it, then a little bit you can find suffering. But you don't care. You don't mind. It's part of the game. You don't care about the results of what you are doing. You don't care of what comes to you. You don't even care of what comes to your heart as pain. You just play. And okay, in this playing sometimes a little hurt can come. But you have the self. And so it all rests upon that. It all rests upon the self. And it's only this connection to the self which really makes it possible. And that is not enlightenment. That I have said many times, is something anybody can reach. Enlightenment also anybody can reach, but maybe a little more hard. But this state of being able to find the self whenever you need it, this state of being quite good, connected to the self, that anybody can have. With some effort, sure, but not so difficult. Sattvapati, I have said many times, to be a ruler of your own good feeling. Then from this good feeling, you can do this. So, this may not seem for you at this moment like possible to do. But don't feel like this class then for you is in vain. It is not. It will help you to not be so confused about attachment or detachment. Know that you do not ultimately have to choose one or the other. Know that there is something beyond. Know that there is a way of being in which this duality, this opposition between yoga and bhoga, between life and death, between Vishnu and Shiva, it goes. This opposition is no longer there, and you just play quite endlessly in a way. So I don't know how long I was talking now. As I said, 5 minutes would have been enough. But maybe there's some questions. Yeah.
In the last lesson you talked about this, in the heart chakra, there's another chakra that's connected with the soul. Does that to do something with it? Has to be
Sure. That is what you open in Sattvapati. That is the connection you get in Sattvapati. And okay, for that you have to move also up to the other chakras, but ultimately you come back there. And the heart chakra is where we feel our more gross emotions. But inside that there is the ananda, the bliss, the purity of the self. And so one can say that all emotions that we are looking for are just like attempts to find this bliss. But okay, and sometimes other emotions get in the way. Anyone? Yeah?
This is my first time doing anything about yoga, so my question
No problem? Yeah, sure.
attached
We all don't know anything about yoga, really.
okay.
Yeah.
That comforts me.
Yeah.
No, if you look at being attached and detached and how you can find a way to be okay with both, how does you as a person having been safely or unsafely attached during childhood, how does it influence your ability to attach or detach or balance that?
Yeah, well, actually, like there are some parents in, let's say, yoga circles or alternative circles, and they feel that their children also should be very detached. And so they feel that whenever the child gets too much attached to something, that this is wrong, and they should go against it. But children are children. We are all children. We all need some attachments. And children definitely, they need some attachments. So if a parent will raise the child in such a way that it never knows when the food will come, it doesn't have no time to go to bed, it doesn't have no time to wake up, it doesn't know who is going to be there when it wakes up, all these things, then it will feel quite insecure. And from this insecurity, this fear, even more attachment will grow. So definitely when raising children, we should leave them the luxury of some good attachments, and the attachment to the mother and the father being, of course, the main one. Many things do not matter so much as long as the child has the feeling that whenever they need the mother or father, that they are there. That does not mean, that the child should not leave you alone 24 hours a day. Okay, has to learn a bit, no? But basically, whenever, maybe it hurt itself or, whatever, then somebody should be there. No? Otherwise, they will feel very insecure. And so we are also that way. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That you do not have to be so extremely detached. If you find still some attachments in yourself, which I'm sure everybody will find, then be at peace with it. See, yes, okay, you can work with it. It can change. Some of the attachment you already may feel like it's too much, it's no use. Okay, then try to drop it. No? But do not believe that you can just jump like that into no attachment at all. Non-attachment, that is not something you can do. That is something that may come. Like I explained, some point you may feel I'm no longer attached to my financial situation. That point may come. And then you are non-attached. That is not something you do. That is a state of being which you find in yourself. And some people who go beyond Sattvapati, no, the next stage actually is non-attachment. Then these people, by living in Sattvapati for a long time, really find, okay, this is not important, that is not important, and they really can no longer find any attachments in them. No? So, but as long as that is not there, accept some attachments, and definitely in children. Yeah?
I sometimes find it difficult that carelessness and being not attached to something, like you're missing part of the beauty of this, the game, like you explained. Like you sit from the garden with the flowers, but being like careless. How do you describe this with being disattached?
Well, being careless is not detached attachment. No? Detached attachment is actually being very concentrated, very devoted, and trying to, give it your best shot. No? Being careless is being careless. No? But of course, we live in a society where detachment is almost seen like a curse. This society has no belief in this idea, or very little. They believe in various attachments, and that this is the way that we should live. So the moment you start questioning it, you have to a little bit go against society, and then you start seeing, wow, so many things I'm attached to also because other people want me. And then we can feel, wow, that's just too much, and like try to drop it all, and then other people might feel that we are careless. But what other people feel is not important. What you feel is important. So if you feel, yes, I have been careless, I made food, but really I was not there, and it didn't taste like much, and everybody had to eat it. Maybe it even upset their stomach or put a lot of gas in their intestine. So, yeah, then you're not really doing it right. No? But that choice is up to you. Don't listen too much to other people about that, because this society has this tendency to see everybody who is trying to do a little bit of detachment as careless. Like in my work environment, if I tell people, no, actually I don't own a house, they feel I'm careless. I'm at the age that I actually should own a house, at least. But I don't. So, in that way, you also have to make your own choices. No? And be honest with yourself there. No? Does that answer it? Okay. I don't really see anybody with this light.